Alright, so the reason why I haven't uploaded one of these videos since April, I think was the last time, was because I was just really enjoying summer. I was traveling a lot, having a hell of a time. I went to Italy for 2 weeks, then to France for 3 weeks. And just in general during summer, I don't watch all too many movies because in the evenings I'll just go outside a lot more. The first movie I watched in May was Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. What I really appreciated about this film was that some like really horrific scenes were in there. It felt partially like a horror film, and yeah, there were just some things happening in there that I did not expect from a Marvel movie. So I really appreciated that. Other than that, the movie wasn't anything all too special. The story kind of lacked. A director I've been wanting to check out is called Eric Rohmer. He's a French director, and so I decided to watch Le Genou de Claire. I thought this was a great introduction to his filmography because you could just tell the beautiful and poetic dialogues he has in a lot of scenes, the beautiful landscapes everywhere, and yeah, just these type of films, also like Call Me by Your Name, like, it really inspire me, so I enjoyed it a lot. I continued with another French film from the late 1960s called Belle de Jour. It's about a young housewife who is conflicted between her normal, boring life and the somewhat exciting life of working at a brothel. She kind of goes back and forth, etc. What I liked about this movie was there was a certain level of surrealism and fantasy in it, and yeah, it just made the movie like stand out a lot more that way. The last three films that I watched in May all belong to the Three Colors trilogy by Krzysztof Kieslowski. You start this trilogy by watching the film Bleu, and the color blue in the French flag means liberté, yeah, liberty or freedom in English, and that's the main theme of this film. I don't want to say too much about these three films because I think it's better just going in not knowing anything about them. The second film is called Blanc, white, and stars Julie Delpy in it. The color white stands for égalité, and the movie is about a couple, a troubled couple, and their equality to one another. This film I enjoyed the least out of all three, but nevertheless I still really like the story, and what sticks out in this film is the title colors. They're so dominant in a lot of scenes, and that was very true for this film as well. And Rouge brings the three stories all together while at the same time telling a separate story about fraternité, which means brotherhood. This was the film that I enjoyed the most out of the three. Also, the color red just really stood out because it's such a dominant and strong color. But I highly suggest to watch the three movies. The first movie I watched in June was called Lamb, and it's a horror film by A24. So I was really excited for it, but sadly I was just kind of let down by it. My best friend and I have been playing a lot of basketball this summer, and so one night we watched Hustle together. It's a Netflix production starring Adam Sandler, and it shows the life of an NBA scout who finds this really talented international player. And because there were so many star players, I think LeBron James was one of the executive producers, you felt like you got like a really good insight. The next day I watched a more comedic basketball movie called White Man Can't Jump. There were some good laughs in there, with Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson in there. Yeah, I think it's a good movie to watch like on a rainy day, or if you're doing like a chill movie night with like some friends who enjoy basketball as well. It's been a while since I've last seen a Spike Lee joint, and therefore I watched 25th Hour starring Edward Norton. I just really enjoyed the atmosphere of this film. It felt, yeah, very original. I haven't really seen a movie like this before, and I really enjoyed it and all. I then was able to rent Pedro Almodovar's latest movie called Madres Paralelas. As many of his other films, the colors in the background, especially the reds and greens, just stand out immediately. The rest of the story I also really enjoyed. All of his movies almost feel like telenovelas, which is kind of funny to me. And yeah, it's not one of his best works of the few films I've seen from him. Dolor y Gloria I personally preferred more. Now in July I only was able to watch 4 movies. The first one I'm starting off with is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I freaking loved it. I've not seen anything like it before. Just everything about it I found fascinating. I've spent I don't know how many hours on the internet searching up videos about how they made the film, what inspired the directors. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The fight choreography in this film was also really good, and there was just this one scene in there that I don't remember the last time I've laughed that hard during a fight scene. Yeah, my dad and I were just cracking up during it. As I was on my way to Antibes by train, I decided to rewatch La Haine for I think about like the 6th time or so now. I mainly watched it to just kind of get back into French because I've kind of lost touch of it during the past 2 years. La Haine, I wouldn't really recommend watching if you want to learn or practice your French, just because there's a lot of slang and they just speak really fast and like over each other, kind of chaotic. But nevertheless, a flawless movie in my opinion. And while I was in Antibes, I even got a tattoo with a quote from the film. So yeah, this movie means a lot to me. After about the first week of going to the language school, I asked some of my friends if they wanted to come join and watch Thor: Love and Thunder. And yeah, so actually a lot of people went to the cinema as well with me. I was really excited for this film, especially since my love and appreciation for the films of Taika Waititi have grown so much since the last Thor. Already the first scene just fully grabbed my attention, just with the classic rock song, I think Welcome to the Jungle it was, by Guns N' Roses. Just the cool visuals throughout the fight and everything. I must say the story in general was kind of lacking. Just the plot could have been done a lot better, but I don't think that's really Taika's fault. And also in general, you need to kind of understand and appreciate the humor of Taika. Now I would like to give you all 3 recommendations to check out. First off, I'd recommend watching the entire Three Colors trilogy. I think it's an essential piece of cinema that everyone who's interested should see. And it also just tells beautiful stories about human experiences, also with suffering in it. And yeah, some of us might even relate to some of these films. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is also a must-see movie. It really just amazed me how they were able to do this. Most of the filming was even going on during the pandemic, and yeah, I just find it fascinating that they were able to still make such an incredible movie. And my third recommendation goes to The Graduate. I also think it's a classic piece of Hollywood cinema, and in many of the filmmaking books I've read, a lot of the scenes or shots were analyzed and discussed, so if you're interested in filmmaking, there's a lot that you can learn from this movie as well. Alright, those were the movies I watched during this summer. Let me know which of these films y'all have seen and how y'all enjoyed them, and I'll see you guys soon.